constituents.
So late to everybody. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I join my honourable friend in thanking all postal workers for their hard work over the busy Christmas period. I'm disappointed to hear that some of his constituents are not receiving their mail on good time. Unfortunately, that's happening across many constituencies, including my own, and the public rightly expects a well-run postal service with letters arriving on time. I do know that Royal Mail pays close attention to issues raised at business questions and other opportunities in this House, so I hope that they have heard the message, but would also encourage him to apply for an legitimate debate on these matters, because it's not just a matter for his constituents, it's a matter for many other constituencies as well.
Joe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My constituent's 11-year-old son perforated his eardrum in July and was referred for paediatric ENT treatment. They were then informed of a 12 to 14 months waiting list for standard referrals and no indication of when the treatment might start. Understandably, they're very worried about delays causing long-term damage to their son's hearing. Surely the leader will agree this is a real concern and not the service that our constituents expect or deserve from our NHS. This is a workforce issue. So will he allow a debate in government time on addressing waiting times for ENT treatment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a matter of concern not just to the honourable gentleman, but I'm sure to the family and friends of the young man involved. It is simply the case, Mr. Speaker, that waiting lists overall are coming down, but there are particular issues in parts of the service, and we're doing our best to tackle that. We're also doing our best to recruit the specialists for those services as well. But I will ensure that the Health Minister hears of the honourable gentleman's concerns, hopefully to see what further can be done, but also if the honourable gentleman wishes to go into further detail, that he is able to do so at a meeting with the Minister.
Catherine Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This week I met 19-year-old Jack Billingham, third-year Derby Rolls-Royce apprentice, who won gold at the National Welding Championships in November and is representing the UK at the World Skills International Competition in Japan. Mr. Speaker, I had a go at virtual reality welding, and I will admit that Jack's score was a little higher than mine. At a time when the UK faces a national shortage of welders and other critical manufacturing skills, could we have a debate on how we strengthen the skills pipeline and support apprenticeships for good, skilled British manufacturing jobs?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the honourable friend and send my congratulations, I'm sure, on behalf of the House to Jack Billingham for winning gold at the National Welding Championships. We are already making efforts to support young people, investing £1.5 billion to deliver 50,000 more apprenticeships and 350,000 more new workplace opportunities. But there's a great deal more that needs to be done, not least as we seek to improve and renew the infrastructure of our country. I'd encourage my honourable friend to apply for a debate, an adjournment debate, to investigate further how we can promote high-skilled manufacturing jobs. Should be unsuccessful in that, I'll look to do so in government time.
Anne Davies.
Mr Llafarydd, the PMQ question yesterday from my honourable friend, the member from East Londonderry, rang a bell with me. Many of my constituents are waiting for their civil service pension, which is being administered by Capita. For example, Sarah Elizabeth Rees, who had to retire due to ill health in February last year. A year on, she still hasn't had her pension and has nothing to support her or to pay her bills. We've written five letters to the relevant department. We've had one reply, which was really asking for confirmation of name, address and national insurance number. This really isn't good enough, and so I would ask kindly if the Leader of the House would allow in government time a debate to fully discuss the issues which have arisen across the whole of the House for all our constituents. Chock about.
Mr Speaker, as I said to my honourable friend earlier, Capita have recognised the scale of the issue and are recruiting additional staff to deal with the issue. But of course, there are issues for particular departments as well. And I will draw the case and her disappointment to ministers in that department. It will be a popular topic for an adjournment debate, Mr. Speaker, should the Honourable Lady be successful in achieving that, because we've already seen it's not just an issue in her constituency, it's an issue in many others too.
Just Southwell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent Ahmed, a senior skilled worker at Queen's Hospital, has not seen his wife Isra for 2 years as she remains trapped in Gaza. Ahmed applied for a spousal visa, but Isra has been unable to enrol her biometrics because the Gaza Visa Application Centre has been closed since 2024, and no safe route to an alternative centre exists. The original application has expired, and the second application faces the same barrier with no access to a visa application centre. Isra's home has been bombed, leaving her without shelter or basic necessities. Will the Leader of the House urge the Home Secretary to consider alternative arrangements such as the deferred biometrics so that those lawfully working here can evacuate their spouses from Gaza?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend raises an important case on behalf of his constituent. I understand he's already written to the Home Office, Mr. Speaker, about this matter, but I will be happy to follow up that with the Home Office to ensure that he gets a response, and should he seek a meeting with ministers to see what further can be done, then I'll seek to facilitate that as well.
Christine Jardine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A number of businesses, particularly care homes in my constituency of Edinburgh West, have approached me with concerns about the salary limits for migrants. Migrants already in this country who've trained here, who've qualified here, are finding it difficult to reach those standards to remain. So would it be possible to have a meeting with a minister from the Exchequer, from the Treasury team, to discuss the impact this is having not just on those sectors, but on the economy?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll ensure that the Honourable Lady gets a meeting with the relevant minister so she can take this issue further.
Amanda Martin.
Mr. Speaker, residents and developers in Portsmouth are facing repeated delays from Council Planning Department, despite clear assurances from the Council to me that the long-promised green light for the Tipner East development, it has stalled again. Mr. Speaker, these delays are actively driving the growth of HMOs, damaging Portsmouth's reputation and holding back action on the housing crisis. Can the Leader of the House tell me what mechanisms are available to members of this House to hold Portsmouth City Council to account, force transparency over these planning delays and secure faster, more effective decision-making to build the much-needed homes in my city?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this matter. The government, as she knows, is dedicated to ending the housing crisis. We've already delivered 231,000 new homes since the election, and our reforms will lead to the highest level in over 40 years. But that has to be delivered at a local level. I will reach out to the relevant minister, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that my honourable friend gets the information required on the specific issues she raises and discuss what further action can be done.
Shocker Adam.
Mr. Speaker, sadly on Boxing Day, Leicester lost one of its finest, Councillor Manjula Sood, MBE. Manjula Sood had been a Labour councillor for 25 years, worked for countless charities and worked so hard for community cohesion, but in 2008 had the honour of becoming UK's first Asian female Lord Mayor. But for me, she will always be known as Mrs. Sood, as my junior school teacher. So will the Leader of the House commemorate Mrs. Sood, and also maybe make time in this chamber for an annual debate where we can commemorate all local champions who truly put great into Great Britain?
Thank you,
Leader.
Madam Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I don't know where I get that from. Mr. Speaker, I certainly join with the honourable gentleman in paying tribute to Councillor Massoon, not just for her invaluable work for the local community, but also to education too. I'll certainly take away his suggestion of an annual debate so that we can mark the contribution of people like Councillor Massoon. I'll give it some thought.
Lee Pitcher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last Thursday, my honourable friend, the member of Doncaster Central, raised the unacceptable waits for audiology services in Doncaster, with some people waiting years for basic hearing tests and hearing aid support. This goes for my constituents in Doncaster East and the Isle of Axholme as well. Long waits, repeat appointments, and people left without working hearing aids. It's not right, it's not good enough, and I will not accept this anymore. Will the Leader of the House ask ministers to set out how they are supporting the local trust to speed up assessments and hearing aid provision and to prevent people being left without the basics?
Leader.
Mr Speaker, as I have said previously, and indeed to a previous answer, audiology is a vital part of healthcare. I will ensure that the relevant minister is aware of my honourable friend's concerns and update him on what plans the government has to improve these services as fast as we possibly can.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can I echo the Leader's Burns Night greetings for Sunday? Will the Leader join me as co-chair of the All-Party Nuclear Group in congratulating the Nuclear Industries Association and all those in the nuclear industry who ensured the success of the 5th Nuclear Week in Parliament this week, showcasing all aspects of the industry from new build to decommissioning and the supply chain, allowing numerous engagement opportunities for MPs. So can we have a debate on the benefits that the nuclear industry is bringing to England and Wales in terms of jobs and economic growth and energy security, so that Scottish members like myself can once again expose the shameful conduct of the Scottish Government in using their planning powers to block new nuclear development in Scotland to the detriment of my constituency and Scotland?
Thank you.
Leader.
Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable gentleman for raising the work of the Nuclear Industries Association and the success of the 5th Nuclear Week in Parliament. The government supports, as he knows, the nuclear industry and has committed £17 billion for an ambitious nuclear programme. It is a pity that that ambition is not shared by the SNP, who on these matters seem to care little about jobs and little about greater energy security that are associated with projects like these. There will be ample opportunity, Mr Speaker, as we set out the government's proposals on these matters for the honourable gentleman to raise his concerns.
Liam Codman.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Melvin Hall Community Centre has served the community of Penge for over 50 years and was home to incredible community initiatives and charities like the Beckenham and Penge Gateway Club, supporting adults with learning disabilities and their families. Sadly, just before Christmas, Melvin Hall closed after Conservative-run Bromley Council imposed unjust and unaffordable rent hikes. Along with the fantastic Labour councillors in Penge and over 1,000 people from across our community who have signed my petition, we are now fighting to save Melvin Hall and keep it in community hands. Will the Leader of the House join me in calling on Tory-run Bromley Council to ensure that Melvin Hall remains a community space, and thanking everyone who has supported this campaign so far?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this important issue and for his campaign to save Melvin Hall by keeping it in community hands. Their work supports adults with learning disabilities and their families. The work is admirable, Mr Speaker, and I congratulate them for that. It's a good opportunity to remind the House that I often criticise the lack of support by reform councils for the local communities, but we mustn't forget the dreadful record often of Conservative councils too. Our new community right to buy, introduced through the English Devolution and Community Empowerment Bill, will give communities stronger powers to take ownership of their vital assets. But I wish my honourable friend and his campaigners all the very best in this particular campaign.
Martin Wrigley.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. We hear an awful lot from the government about building sovereign digital capabilities in the UK. We also hear this morning about Britain becoming Britain's biggest customer. And yet we see government procurement continuing to go to large American giant providers in the MOD, in the NHS, even in the Cabinet Office. Will the Leader of the House make government time in this chamber for us to debate the meaning of what a sovereign AI capability is and how we might change our government procurement to enable our British firms to be able to bid for these intensely important elements of government mechanism?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'd encourage the honourable gentleman perhaps to apply for an adjournment debate and hear from the Minister directly, because I think what he would find, I expect what he would find, is that the government shares his ambition for contracts and work going to British companies. It's at the heart of our industrial strategy.
Charlie Dewis.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Now, my right honourable friend, the Shadow Leader of the House, mentioned PFI contracts earlier. I think it's particularly pertinent as a lot of those come to an end. This is impacting a number of schools in my constituency in Bridlington and the Wolds, where work is suddenly not being done, costs are going up. One school's carried out a survey where it says it's going to cost £3.5 million to bring it back up to a safe standard, and a concern that the company that should be carrying out that work will declare itself bankrupt, leaving the school and the local authority with the bill. I suspect this is not an isolated case, and that members across the House will be aware of similar issues. So can we have a debate in government time on PFI contracts and their impact on public services?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. As the honourable gentleman will have just heard, it is a concern which is shared across the House. I would invite him to apply either for Westminster Hall debate or an adjournment debate, so that he and colleagues on both sides of the Houses can raise those concerns, because, as I say, they're clearly shared across the House.
Mr Speaker, from the Flying Horse to the Bob, from Niccolo Delvino to the Oxford, from the Spring Inn to the Moorcock, we're really lucky in Rochdale and Littleborough to have some fantastic pubs and bars. But many of them are worried about business rates. So will the leader give me some assurance that we'll urgently get a government package of support to support our pubs and the pub industry? Because then we can start saying, back again in Rochdale, up the dale and down the ale.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I know that my honourable friend is a staunch supporter of local pubs in his constituency and has a remarkable knowledge of them. In the budget, as he knows, we did put £4.3 billion of support over 3 years to help pubs. But we do recognise, Mr Speaker, that pubs are still worried, which is why the Chancellor is actively considering a pub support package to make sure that the right support is in place. And as I said, in answer to someone on the other side of the House, I expect that that will be announced in the coming days.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can I thank the Leader of the House again for all his answers. If I can, I would like to turn attention to Mexico. There have been recent reports of persecution and intimidation of Christians, with some 376 incidents of the assault or abductions of Christians in Mexico in the last couple of years, quite worrying. These reports raise concerns about the protection of freedom of religion or belief. Will the Leader please ask the Foreign Secretary to set out what representations government has made to the Mexican authorities regarding these reports, and what steps have been taken to support freedom of religion or belief in Mexico? Thank you so much.
Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable gentleman for his question. Our embassy in Mexico monitors the human rights situation in Mexico very closely, and we continue to engage regularly on human rights matters. That includes the rights of religious minorities and related issues with the Mexican authorities. As he knows, because we've exchanged on a number of occasions, the UK is committed to defending freedom of religion or belief for all, and I'll ensure that the Foreign Secretary hears his concerns.
Thank you, earlier this week, I met with our colleagues and friends in our sister party in Denmark to express our solidarity with the difficult context that they face, but also to learn from some of their successful social democratic policies which we could adopt over here, including on immigration and the economy, one of which is a change to their pensions context to ensure that those who have worked in manual labour roles are able to take voluntary early retirement schemes while others have later retirement. I wonder if the government could consider this and other policies that they've done so successfully in Denmark to make sure we're looking after working class people in working communities like mine.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My honourable friend raised a very interesting issue, and the government wants to ensure, obviously, that people can look forward to a comfortable retirement. And there's a strong history, Mr Speaker, not least in the history of old age and employment-related pensions, to learning from other countries and best practice in other countries. We have the pension scheme bill progressing through the Lords, and I will raise my honourable friend's concerns with ministers, because he certainly raises interesting points.
Andy MacDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, MPs heard from some of the international NGOs whose Israeli registration to operate in Palestine will be terminated, and from the 1st of March will no longer be able to provide critical aid. In Gaza, the suffering and the killings have not stopped. In bitter winter conditions, delays are preventing critical food, medical, hygiene and shelter supplies from entering Gaza. Many still face starvation, and the birth rate has dropped by over 40% in the past year, and newborns are not surviving. And whilst Israel prevents the work of aid organisations, the UK continues its membership of the Civil Military Coordination Centre, which is meant to facilitate the flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, part of the state of Palestine the UK now recognises. So can we have a debate in government time to explore the exposure of the UK to this restriction via the CMCC, and what measures the UK can take, economic and otherwise, to ensure that these UK public-funded agencies can continue to deliver aid and help bring this catastrophe in the state of Palestine to an end.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We desperately need to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, as my honourable friend has said, not just on this occasion but on many occasions too, and I understand his frustration on these matters because he cares deeply on these matters. We do continue to press for the crossings to be reopened and restrictions on aid to be lifted. We are members of various bodies that can be used for an influence on these matters. It's much more important that we are engaged in these organisations so that we can work through these issues and ensure that aid flows as quickly as possible and in the quantities that are required. I will ensure that the relevant minister has heard my honourable friend and that he gets an update not only on what we're doing but what further plans we have.
Frank Mandela.
Speaker, I'm very grateful to what my right honourable friend has said today in response to a number of honourable members regarding Capita. Many have not received payments, including my constituent Mrs Costello, a former civil servant who retired in April 2025. Despite submitting all paperwork on time and receiving approval, she has yet to receive any confirmation of her lump sum or her annual pension. Will the Leader of the House make time for a statement or a debate on this matter, given the unacceptable levels of delays and uncertainty affecting Mrs Costello and many others like her?
Leader. Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this issue. He's a doughty campaigner for his constituents. As we've said previously, Capita have recognised the scale of the issue and are recruiting additional staff to deal with these matters, but I can sense the frustration, I hear the frustration from across the House, because although we can talk about making progress, that's of little comfort to Mrs Costello and others who are still waiting. So I will arrange a meeting for my honourable friend and others from across the House, if they seek one, to meet with the relevant Cabinet Office Minister to further make the case.
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Earlier this week, students in Year 11 at Felixstowe School were told they wouldn't be able to continue their studies beyond Year 11 at the school because the school is not continuing with sixth form provision. As you can imagine, this has caused huge worry for parents and students at Felixstowe School. I have written to the Secretary of State about this and the worries that I have about withdrawal of sixth form education from our town. Will the Leader of the House help ensure that I secure this meeting quickly, as time is clearly of the essence?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. First of all, can I express my sympathies to concerned parents and students. Indeed, from time to time in my own constituency, we've seen similar issues arise. I do appreciate the concern and uncertainty that this creates. She knows that this government is committed to opportunity for all, and the vital importance of education is absolutely central to that. So I will ensure that she gets a meeting with the Minister so that she can follow this up as a matter of urgency.
Brandisham.
Good morning, Mr Speaker. Councillors across Scotland are preparing budgets and considering options put forward from officers that will mean cuts to vital public services. In Grangemouth, local residents are rightly worried about the proposals to withdraw maintenance of the beautiful Zetland Park and the closure of the Grangemouth Sports Complex, removing swimming and leisure facilities. These proposed cuts would be awful for Grangemouth residents of all ages. Will the Leader of the House join me in praising my constituents as they stand up for our communities and agree that the only thing that should be cut in Grangemouth is the grass at Zetland Park?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Speaker. First of all, can I praise the efforts of local people in Grangemouth. As he knows, council funding in Scotland is a devolved matter, but as I've said on a number of occasions, the UK Government did deliver the largest spending review settlement in the history of the Scottish Parliament, so there is no way for local authorities and indeed the Scottish Government to hide on matters such as these. Residents in Grangemouth should expect to see that record funding deliver the services that they need and they enjoy. So let me wish him and his campaigners luck in their efforts.
Martin Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I recently visited Hawthorne Housing Cooperative in my constituency, a registered social landlord since 1987, which provides homes and services to around 364 tenant members. Given this government's strong support for the cooperative movement and the work that housing cooperatives such as Hawthorne do in communities like Postle in my constituency, would the Leader of the House consider dedicating time for a debate on the importance of support for the cooperative housing sector?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I want to thank my honourable friend for championing the work of Hawthorne Housing Cooperative, and as we've said before, housing is about balance, and cooperative housing undoubtedly has an important role to play in that matter. We are considering opportunities to establish a formal framework for cooperative housing and have provided £20 million in support for community-led housing. If my honourable friend seeks further detail, then should he apply for an adjournment debate on this matter, I hope he's successful.
Swallow.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Pilgrim Hearts have been lifting homeless and vulnerable people in Bracknell Forest out of poverty and supporting them to rebuild their lives for 25 years. Does my right honourable friend agree that local charities and organisations like Pilgrim Hearts must be at the heart of our plan to tackle street homelessness? And will he set out what this government is doing to cut rough sleeping and poverty?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I absolutely agree with my honourable friend that charities like Pilgrim's Heart are the golden thread that run through our communities. And I thank Elaine and everyone at Pilgrim Heart for their 25 years of service to the local community. Homelessness, Mr Speaker, is a moral stain on our society, and this government will not stand idly by and allow that to continue, which is why we're investing £1 billion to give homeless people the security of a roof over their heads and get back on track to end homelessness for good.
Alan Thompson.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. On Monday, Ilkeston's #1 tourist attraction, the NatWest Hole, was cruelly divided in two by a metal pole, installed with no explanation. The hole itself is a beloved part of the fabric of our town, and defacing it caused significant distress to my community. Thankfully, the pole mysteriously vanished a few hours later, but I've written to NatWest to understand what happened here. Will the Leader of the House consider scheduling a debate on the protected status of local heritage sites and quirky landmarks so we can discuss whether historic England might grant the Ilson Hole listed status?
Very much indeed, Mr Speaker, and I thank my honourable friend for bringing this interesting matter to the House. The UK is full of incredible quirky history, and I'll make sure that the relevant minister has heard the member's point and also encourage him to attend to seek an adjournment debate on the issue that he raises, and I hope that NatWest have heard his remarks too.
Mr Speaker, the city of Dunfermline is at the same time Scotland's ancient capital and newest city. But as we start to plan for the future and what Dunfermline can truly become to fulfil its potential, I've launched a survey to make sure that local people have a great say in that, to give me their ideas about what they think the city should be in the future. Can I ask the Leader of the House to first of all come and visit Dunfermline to see for himself how fantastic the city is, but also to allow time, in government time, for a debate on the importance of our towns and smaller cities across Scotland and the UK.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader.
I thank my honourable friend for that tempting offer. I shall see what my diary allows. I join him in recognising the importance of high streets and cities. They are often, as he suggests, at the heart of our local communities. High street regeneration is a devolved matter. However, the Scottish Affairs Select Committee currently have an inquiry on the future of Scotland's high streets, which I'm sure he is watching closely. And I hope that from that will be further measures that can improve high streets, not just in his constituency, but across Scotland.
I recently met with some volunteers from the Yorkshire Air Ambulance Charity, an organisation that provides a life-saving emergency service right across our region to 5 million people. Last year, they completed an average of 5 missions a day, an outstanding achievement. Will the Leader of the House join me in commending the valiant work of this charity? And can we have a debate in government time on how we can secure the future of such services?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for bringing to the attention of the House the wonderful work of the Yorkshire Air Ambulance. Charities and their respective volunteers are absolutely fundamental to communities across this country, and none more so than air ambulances. I will ensure, Mr. Speaker, that the relevant minister has also heard my honourable friend's contribution and provide him with an update on what the government plans to further support such services.
Tom Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the last 20 minutes, BCP Council's Planning Committee have just approved the Cherries plans to enable works to expand Vitality Stadium, with an agreement that there will be staff to marshal traffic and parking and a transport working group to abate the concerns of residents that were voiced so eloquently by Councillor Sherwin Carr-Brown at the planning meeting. Will the Leader of the House welcome these good pieces of news, and would he also commit the government to continuing to support football with the £551 million going into Euros 2028 that England will co-host, but also the Football Governance Act?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I certainly welcome the news delivered by my honourable friend for the expansion AFC Bournemouth. He knows, as many across this House know, the importance not just of football in the life of this country, but the importance of football clubs in the towns and cities of this country. It is important that it gets the football gets the support that it needs, and the government is absolutely committed to that.
Josh Fenton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A recent proposal now dropped to see 2 multi-academy trusts in my constituency, the Pennine Allied Learning Trust and the Trinity MAT, merge, led to me getting over 100 individual letters and 2,000 people signing a petition in just a week. What can we do to make sure that parents' voices are at the centre of these decisions in future?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank my honourable friend for this question. It's important that the voices of parents and those impacted are heard, and it's to his credit that he uses his voice this morning to raise their concerns. When trusts explore a voluntary transfer, they are expected to engage with parents in the wider community in an open and meaningful way. So I hope that the Trust has heard my honourable friend's remarks this morning, and if he wishes to make his case further, I'll ensure that he gets a meeting with the relevant minister.
Right, we'll let the front benches change over. We come to the statement, Secretary of State, Steve Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This government was elected on a promise to repair the broken foundations of local government. In 2024, councils were on the brink financially, while a third of the country was left paying for the wasteful duplication of 2 tiers of councils for their area. This cannot be acceptable. After years of underfunding has led to a crisis in social care, the decline of our town centres and rubbish piling up on our streets. Visible failure that contributes to a decline in trust. Failure caused by Tory austerity and 14 years of economic mismanagement. This government will not stand by and let that decline continue. We can't just snap our fingers and reverse the last 14 years overnight, but we can act now to secure a better future. To get there, we've already announced fairer funding that realigns resources with need. But we also need to eliminate the financial waste of two-tier councils so we can plough the savings back into the frontline services local people care about the most. Today's announcement is part
millions of pounds of additional investment for these sectors. Can I therefore ask the Scottish Government whether it will work with stakeholders such as Social Impact Scotland to look at how we could deploy the use of social impact bonds here in Scotland across a range of areas in order to secure this additional investment?
Deputy First Minister. I've followed the launch of the UK Government's Better Futures Fund and the Office for the Impact Economy with interest, and I see the potential opportunities of a social impact bond model to support wider policy approach to the third sector and social enterprises. So yes is the short answer to Michael Matheson. We are happy to continue to explore all options to deliver on those commitments to support the people of Scotland and a sustainable third sector.
Question number 7, Liz Smith.
Government what measures it's putting in place to encourage young people to engage in the arts?
Cabinet Secretary.
The Scottish Government has a long-standing history of supporting young people to engage in the arts through programmes such as the Youth Music Initiative and Systema Scotland. We are proud that both of these programmes will receive an uplift in the 2026-27 budget, taking our annual investment to £10 million and £2.787 million respectively. Both programmes demonstrate the transformative power of culture, ensuring young people of all backgrounds have the opportunity to enjoy music and the wider arts.
Liz Smith.
I thank you for that. I'm sure the Cabinet Secretary followed closely the recent Finance Committee evidence that we took from the 5 performing arts companies. And at that session, Alex Regic of Scottish Opera said this: "It's interesting that we see a trend and increasing evidence that teachers no longer have the skills to deliver elements of the creative part of the curriculum." So could I ask what discussions this Cabinet Secretary is having with the Cabinet Secretary for Education to address what is quite a serious concern?
Cabinet Secretary.
Well, can I say I've been in extensive conversations with the National...
To tell me we're holding elections this year for positions that will rapidly be abolished would slow down making these vital reforms that will benefit local people. And I have listened to what councils told me. In December, the Minister for Local Government and Homelessness wrote to 63 councils due to hold elections in May 2026 to hear their views. I have carefully assessed over 350 representations from those councils with elections scheduled in May and from others who are interested in the outcome. I have carefully considered arguments made about capacity, reorganisation and democracy, and I'm grateful to everyone who took the time to express their views. I can now confirm my decisions to the House. I have decided to bring forward legislation to postpone 29 elections. I have deposited a list of these in the House of Commons library. I have received one further representation this morning that I will consider, then report back to the House on my decision. In all other areas, council elections will go ahead as planned, many having offered no evidence that it would delay reorganisation in their areas. This means of the 136 local elections across England that were scheduled for May, the vast majority will go ahead as planned. In areas where elections are postponed, existing councillors will have their terms extended for a short period. Once the new unitary councils are agreed, we will hold elections to them in 2027. I have now written to councils confirming these decisions, and I will shortly lay the necessary legislation before both houses. Mr. Speaker, I am not the first Secretary of State to seek to delay elections to speed up essential reorganisation. The Shadow Secretary of State suggested on Tuesday that the previous government had not done the same thing, but perhaps he has forgotten the postponements in Weymouth and Portland in 2018, or Aylesbury, Chiltern, South Buckinghamshire and Wickham in 2019, or Cumbria, North Yorkshire and Somerset in 2021.
Order. I have a lot of respect for the honourable gentleman, but I don't expect him to walk in and start mouthing off the moment he sits down, please. And I'm sure he would like to catch my eye, and it's not the best way. Secretary of State.
Well, indeed, it was the self-styled new sheriff in town